Hi, geometry students. This is Miss K, obviously. So as you can see, you have a sub today. The meeting I was supposed to have yesterday got rescheduled to today. So I'm actually at Richmond High. I'm just in the office planning lessons all day long, super fun. But I didn't want you to miss a day of learning. So I've recorded you this video and it goes along with the worksheet. I'm gonna teach you how to do it. Just the same as if I were here in class, and all you gotta do is watch the video and take notes as I'm taking notes, and then you should be able to help each other to finish the assignment. What else? Oh, just like a normal day, please turn off your phone or turn it on airplane mode so it doesn't distract you. And yeah, that's all you need to know. So go ahead, take out the classwork for today, and I'm gonna go through it with you. All right, have fun. Okay, here we go. We are on the classwork. So to warm up, let's remind ourselves what the perfect squares are. 1 squared, or 1 to the power of 2, means 1 times 1, which is equal to 1. 2 squared, or 2 to the power of 2, is 4. 3 squared, 3 to the power of 2, means 3 times 3, which is 9. 4 to the power of 2 is 16. 5 to the power of 2 is 25. 6 to the power of 2, 6 times 6 is 36. Hopefully you have these all memorized. 7 to the power of 2, or 7 squared, is 49. 8 to the power of 2 is 64. 9 to the power of 2 is 9 times 9, 81. 10 squared is 100. 11 times 11 is 121. 12 times 12 is 144. 15 times 15. I skipped, if you notice, 13, 14. Actually, you should know 13. Let's put that in there. 13 squared, 169. 14, I don't have memorized, so I'm not going to make you memorize it. Okay, so we're skipping 14. You do got to know 15, though. That's 225, and 20 is 400. These are the ones you should memorize. Okay? All right. So today we are learning how to simplify radicals. We are going to simplify these radicals. The lesson here, see how it says radicals? Well, what's a radical? That's this symbol here. This is a radical. So we are going to simplify them, all right? It's pretty straightforward. Here's how you do it. Simplify 75. The first thing you do is you write all the factors of 75. So let's think. What numbers multiply to give you 75? I always start with 1. So 1 times 75. Is it divisible by 2? No. How about 3? Yes, 3 times 25. 4, no, it's not divisible by 4. It is divisible by 5, though. 5 times 15. 6, no. 7, no. 8, no. 9, I think that's it. These are all the factors of 75. Okay? Next, I look for one of these numbers here. So I look for a perfect square. So what I'm going to do is find the biggest, and biggest is important, perfect square. So I see 1 and I see 25, because 25 is also a perfect square. Which one's bigger? Well, it's 25. So now what I do is I come over here and I rewrite this as the square root of, instead of 75, I'm going to write 25 times 3, okay? Because 25 times 3 is equal to 75. So this and this are actually equivalent. Now what I do is I write each one in their own radical. So this is the square root of 25 times the square root of 3. Okay, now looking at these, which one can be simplified? Which one has a perfect square? 25 has a square root, it is 5. 3 does not have a square root. So what I do next is I simplify the perfect square that I can. For example, this becomes 5 square root 3. I can't simplify 3 anymore, so this is my answer. Ta-da! Okay, I'll do a couple more. Number 2. Square root of 16. Well, this one, don't simplify. It is a perfect square. Oops. What is the square root of 16? What times itself is 16? This equals 4, and we're done. Notice how this no longer has a radical. The square root of 16 is 4. So this does not have a radical anymore. This, remember, is the radical. Okay? I'll do a couple more. Number 3, 36. First thing is I check, is it a perfect square? And it is a perfect square here. So I don't do anything. I just write, okay, the square root of 36 is 6. Done. That's my answer, because 6 times 6 is 36. Okay? What about the square root of 64? Is that one of my perfect squares? Oh, it is. So I'm already done. This equals 8. Now let's say you didn't see that and you started simplifying it. What would happen? You'd write the factors of 64. 1 times 64, 2 times, what is it? 32, not divisible by 3. 4 times 16, 5, no. 6, no. 7, no. Okay, 8 times 8. And you are done. Okay, so one thing you could do is you could already see, oh look, 8 is a square root. But let's say you accidentally did this and you wrote the square root of 16 times 4. Right? Let's say you did this wrong. You didn't notice it was already 8 and you started doing this because you were like, oh, I know, 16 is a perfect square. Well, this is equal to the square root of 16 times the square root of 4. What is the square root of 16? Square root of 16 is 4. What's the square root of 4? Well, that's 2. 4 times 2 is still 8. You get the same answer either way. So even if you don't recognize it as a perfect square, doing the process I just taught you will ultimately get you the same answer. Okay, let's do 2 more. Number 5 here, square root of 80. 80 is not one of my perfect squares, so I need to write the factors of it. I need to simplify it. So 80, let's write all the factors. So list all factors of 80. So we got 1 times 80, okay? 2 times 40. All right, let's test 3. Is it divisible by 3? No, it's not. Is it divisible by 4? Yes, 4 times 20. How about 5? Yep, I know it's divisible by 5 because it ends in a 0. It's 5 times 16. Is it divisible by 6? No. 7? No. 8? Yes. 9? No. And 10 we already have. So these are all of the factors. So now I need to look for a perfect square. Which one of them is a perfect square? We actually have a couple here. One's a perfect square, but I'm not even going to write that because that doesn't help us at all. 4 is a perfect square, and so is 16. Which one's bigger? The bigger one's the one we want to use. Choose the bigger perfect square. So I'm going to use the factors 5 and 16 to simplify this. So I can rewrite 80 as 16 times 5. Then I can rewrite each one in their own radicals. So I have the square root of 16 times the square root of 5. Square root of 16 is 4 times the square root of 5. Notice I don't need to write the multiplication anymore. 5 can't be simplified any longer, so this is my answer. Done. Ta-da! Let's do one more. Over here, square root 30. I first check, is it one of my perfect squares? No, it is not. So I'm going to have to simplify it. So I start by listing all the factors of 30. And what do I got? 1 times 30. 2 times 15. 3 times 10. 4, no. 5, yes. 5 times 6. 7, no. 8, no. 9, no. 10 already is here. Okay, so these are all my factors. I'm going to look and say, are there any perfect squares? Are there? Are these here? I don't see any. So here, there are no, or there are not any perfect square factors. So this cannot be simplified. Because there are no perfect squared factors of 30. So this, the best we can do is say that's equal to square root of 30. That's it. Okay? That is it for the notes. All you gotta do now is flip your paper over and finish the classwork. Then you can start the homework and I will give you stamps tomorrow. Have fun. Yay!